All right, welcome into the special post-training camp edition of the Growler for the YouTube page. We're here for you, YouTubers. We are here for all of you. Every day after practice, Jay and I are going to bring you a quick hit of, we're going to have maybe a takeaway, a play, and a thing they say.
A lot of things were said today.
A lot of things were said today. We can make it rhyme. All of these things are great. We're going to keep it tight for you, just give you a quick recap of things that went on. A ton went on today. We're going to just collapse a little bit of what we can in here for you. So let's start, Jay, with a takeaway. What is your primary takeaway from a busy day here at Paycor Stadium?
Well, I guess my takeaway is the DJ Turner-Dax Hill battle got a jump start. Cam Taylor-Britt had tonsillitis. He's not practicing. He may not practice this week. He's here, but he's still working his way back from that. So we saw DJ and Dax out there together, and I thought they both looked pretty good. Now, we did not see Jamar. We'll get to that later. But T. Higgins was out there. All the other guys were out there, and I thought Turner in particular played pretty well. He had a couple pass breakups. Had one we had to get clarification from Darren Simmons. It was a deep ball from Joe Burrow down the field. Turner got a hand on it, deflected it. It still got back to Trenton Irwin. Couldn't tell if he was in bounds or out. Darren confirmed to us afterwards that Trenton bobbled it. He was out of bounds. So that counts. That's a PBU for DJ Turner. And he had a few of those. He looked pretty good today.
Yeah, I thought he had a nice day, and Dax Hill, it felt like they were going after him a little bit to see how he could do. Made a couple, got beat on a couple. It's the type of thing that happens. To me, one takeaway from today is people are going to be talking about Jamar Chase, right? Jamar Chase is here, but opted not to participate. And, they kind of heard the same things from Joe Burrow when he was sitting right here saying, when Jamar's back, it's going to be great having him here 100% whenever he's ready to get going. Zach Taylor sort of said that he's going to be a guy that's going to be limited early on. Does this have to do with contract stuff? Maybe, probably, who knows? My takeaway, though, is that I don't care. I don't care. This is not going to be an issue.
No.
I will be absolutely floored if this becomes any kind of a real issue as camp goes on. If we're going to sit here and talk about this guy's contract, they're in talks about an extension. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. We've written about that from the things that were said at Mock Turtle Soup. It's going to get done at some point. He's going to play this year. He's going to be out here participating in camp. Does Burrow need more reps with Jamar Chase? I mean, arguably one of the best connections in football. They really need to go out there and be working on it every day. I just don't really buy it. I don't buy it as a controversy. I don't buy it as a thing that people should be caring about. Is he out there? He's out there. He's not participating today. But my takeaway is I'm not buying it as a controversy, even though he was not a part of practice today.
No, and not a part of practice participating, but he was involved. He wasn't just sitting on the sideline sulking. He was dapping guys up that came back that made good plays. He was involved. He was out there, kind of in a cheerleader role. And Joe said it. He's played 10 games since he left high school without Jamar Chase, and that was his rookie year. They are going to be fine. He misses the first day of camp, not a big deal.
Not a big deal. All right, what do you got for a play of the day?
For the play of the day, it was actually one that was on air. They were running routes on air, and Burrow missed Mike Gesicki high. Well, we thought he missed him high. He went up and made an incredible leaping, twisting catch. You could hear multiple voices from different parts of the field. Attaboy, Mike. Way to go, Mike. Mike. Everybody saw it, and it was really impressive. And what made it, for me, the play of the day was because the next play, Burrow missed him again high, and it was incomplete. And you saw Burrow doing kind of this, and you're like, oh, no, what's going on? And then they come out in 11. That was the last throw before 11-on-11, and he comes out on 11-11, and he's zipping it. First pass, T. Higgins dropped it. It had so much pace on it, it just went right off T's hands. He was throwing the ball fine. Joe Burrow looked like Joe Burrow did. It was not the mini camp Joe Burrow where he was throwing half speed.
that's part of my play here is to talk about Burrow a little bit. My play is when an incompletion from Joe Burrow. A hell of an incompletion, and that was a deep overthrow of T. Higgins, who said, "Man, what the fuck?" When he talked to us afterwards, say, "What was that?" Not expecting to get thrown that deep because Burrow unleashed one, and it was, one of those that you expect to see from a guy that makes you say, "I don't see anything wrong here." Everything looks fine, and I thought that was really the case today, and he sat up here and was pretty lighthearted and pretty happy, and seemed like that afterwards. He was over signing autographs and saying hi to, greeting the kids and kissing the babies and signing the shoes and doing all that. It was a very normal day, I think, and one that you come away confident with. Now, he's going to have days off here and there. He said that's baked into what their camp is going to be, where it's going to be not, a couple days you're not going to have every day in a row for 3 straight days. There's going to be break days in there, and that's just part of the plan to make sure he's fully good to go. But, he says he feels great. He looks great. Everyone that watched what we just watched can only say, yeah, I concur. Dude looked really good out there. And I certainly come away from this having any concerns about the risk. Very limited. Duke Tobin said the other day, I think the risk is something in the past. You can certainly start to see that coming into a lot clearer focus after this practice.
Yeah, and that play you're talking about, I wrote it down. You probably wrote it down. I wrote 9 overthrows 5.
Yeah.
T. Higgins said that was not the case. T. said he needs to get his legs back, that was on him. That was not on Joe. He just couldn't get to it. So I thought that was telling. It could be a teammate sticking up for a teammate, but we all thought it was maybe an overthrow, an overshot. And T. Higgins said the ball was where it should have been. He should have got it.
All right, what do you got for your quote? Thing heard. What'd they say?
So the way you guys, we've talked about it. The way this thing is set up, it's an auxiliary locker room, and then the rookies are in like an auxiliary to the auxiliary. Like you really have to search to go find him. But I wanted to talk to Dejon Anthony, the rookie safety. He had the first interception of camp. It came really early in camp. Went back to talk to him, and Dan Horde did as well. And like any rookie, it was different because it was just rookies in that room. But he would have really clammed up had he been in front of the veterans. He was trying to play it cool, but he couldn't. He was very, very excited about making that play, and he was saying all the right things. It's the next one. I'll be excited when I make one in a game, whether it's a preseason game, regular season game. But it was to make that kind of and it wasn't. Alan George had one too that was a deflection. He dove and he caught it. That was great. This was Dejon Anthony making the play and making the interception. And it sounded, nobody, Jalen Davis was telling him to shut up, but it sounded like there was maybe a little bit of a bet, a prize pot on the line for who got the first pick of camp. And Alan George was not happy that Dejon Anthony beat him by a couple plays, but Dejon did.
He did. Mine will come from Andre Yoshivash. And that was him talking about how he ran just about every single route out of the slot today. And I was asking him, well, was that something that you weren't doing that in the OTAs? No, that's something that they brought him in here and for this part of camp, said, hey, let's give you a shot, show him that you can do it. And I think that shows how they're viewing that slot position. Again, we've talked about flexibility and different slot options, but to take Yoshivash and have him out here doing something he's never done. He had a really nice deep over where he beat Mike Hilton out of the slot and took off down the field. Burton, Yoshivash, Charlie Jones. You're seeing a ton of different guys make their way into that slot spot. Mike Gesicki, all of them making their way into the slot spot. And I think seeing Yoshivash go there, it shows, one, they love what they've seen from him as far as growth as a receiver and ability to run routes, to think that he could do that when he's never done that in his entire life.
Right.
And also see it as a way to get a lot of different guys opportunity and see who bubbles up. I thought that was interesting because he's always kind of felt more like the outside guy because his entire life he's been the outside guy. But now they're seeing a possibility to maybe get him used that way. Really interesting there. Well, we're excited, Jay, to really to do these for you, give you some quick recaps so you can stay up and keep hitting up our YouTube page. And of course, subscribe to the Growler. Make sure you're subscribing over Spotify, iTunes, whatever is your preferred podcast platform. Thanks everybody for listening to our quick recap here of day one. We'll talk to you tomorrow.